Bomona agenti ayekelu no zono bosuru chinketa. I see kanko echiri ya zelu. I see no bosinketa adela inama. Na ya dikechi. Necha da agwagu. Otu ay kuro cha kwa ya derede. Ise. Ediko sidi. Achime kuno mana ni yabo Eastern News 24. Kaisi wala uterunya bozi. Dika. Aisi kuno nkwa. Nagede uterunya bozi ni akwụkwọ. Ya ijibia no bosinketa bia na bo. He don't cast. No Yibo. Alright, onye njegi no onu yaketa bo Mazi Solomon. Also, we lied to Nigerians. Finally, truth has been exposed. Yes, the secret about Tinubu and Buhari. Only one of the head that work under Buhari regime, and then Tinubu recently now. So Gaya before Jumakaya will be we see a drop or if you change it up on the yoke. Or it's over to you.
I'm a member of the Social Democratic Party,
SDP.
Yeah, I left the APC in 2023. I mean, when they started perpetuating this issue of Mai Mala, a sitting governor under the constitution and also holding an executive position as a national chairman of the party. And I protested against it. I tried to get to the then president about it. That, I mean, it was wrong. And it seems to be falling on deaf ears. So I told myself that, look, you can't fight for the truth and then still be living to compromise the truth. So I resigned my membership and left.
Yeah, you were sounding at some point as though that you're like an obedient, but you are an SDP member.
Why I sounded so was just basically the ganged up against the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and making it look like he's the only problem of Nigeria. And with me, once there's a ganged up against a human being, my stand will always be clear. So I stood with Peter Obi. He's a Nigerian, he's a senior citizen. His crime from all that I could gather was that he contested the 2023 election. And of course, that should not be a crime.
So you were in the SDP, but you supported Peter Obi in 2023 election?
No, I supported my candidate, Adewale Adebayo.
Okay.
But in offices in 2023, where we had no candidate, I supported the candidate of the Labour Party.
So you are multi-faced in that sense. You have the heart of APC, you have the heart of SDP, and you have the face of Labour Party. Does that describe your political character?
That has been my nature, because during the election in Anambra, when we were in government, I told the president when he was going to campaign there that he was going to support APC, but my candidate was the ABGA candidate who was an incumbent. Because to me, he did very well in terms of security and infrastructure. And the whole concept of leadership is about delivering democratic dividends. So I wouldn't want to go and must get that for a non-APC candidate. And in 2019, in Kaduna State, I supported the PDP gubernatorial candidate, which I told the president too clearly that, look, for El-Rufai to introduce the issue of Muslim ticket in a multicultural society, I will not be part of it. So I'm not just a blind supporter. At any point in time, if someone decides to romance injustice, we can disagree on that, and I will stand on the side of what I feel is fair. So that's how I behave politically.
So your ideology is based on how you perceive things and how it fits into your morale and your morality, rather.
Perfect.
That's who you are. That's what Solomon Dalung is.
That is who I am. Aligning it with the basic rules on the ground.
So you're non-conformist.
You got it right.
You are an agitator in every sense.
Every sense of it.
You are agitated.
I even disagree with myself when I discovered that I didn't acted right.
What you have not disagreed with is the way you look.
No, this is very consistent.
What informed this outfit anyway? The khaki and your beret. I mean, it reminds me when I was in university. If you wear this on campus, you might have, you don't belong to a particular court group, you might have your head in your hands at some point. Are you a courtist?
Not at all. This is the signature of my mentor, Che Guevara, the Latin American revolutionary who actually fought very well for the liberation of most of those countries. It was also replicated here in Africa by my great mentor and leader, Thomas Sankara, of blessed memory in Burkina Faso. So it is an ideology of preaching, change in favor of the majority. So we stand for the general good. So I'm only just replicating that. And that are my thoughts.
So you are a Che Guevara in one sense, you're a Sankara on one hand, but in the real sense, let's come to the real fact. You served on the platform of the APC. You were in the beginning one of the so-called founders of the APC, and there are those who will blame you that you are one of the problems of Nigeria. There are those who will say, Solomon Dalung, what you preach is different from what we saw. You serve the political party that you now disagree with. What came about the APC? What was the agenda in forming the APC in the first place?
The APC, as at the time of conception, the way some of us perceive it was like we were all agreeing on one thing, to move Nigeria forward. But shortly after that, I realized that APC was just like the Pontius Pilate pontifical disagreements. We were a conglomeration of strange bedfellows with all different interests, but we had a common enemy, and the common enemy was to eliminate PDP and Jonathan.
And
Jonathan. And for me, it wasn't so. For me, it was the issue of let us move the country forward. So shortly after we have gotten power, this interest started manifesting itself in different forms, and even within government which we were serving. And of course, I understood that, look, we had actually shortchanged Nigerians.
So in one sense, APC deceived Nigerians. They were not actually for the people. They were actually to grab power. Is that what you're saying?
No, APC used Nigerians and the common people. Because, the Buhari hurricane in 2015 was sponsored by Nigerians. Every kobo spent, apart from the big politicians who were donating aircrafts, which was also used by themselves for the campaign. And the common people, you remember, were trekking. Some trek 40 kilometers to attend our rallies. The poor people scratched cards, liquidated their small investment and donated. And the peak of it was the 90-year-old woman in Kebbi, whom when we went for campaign, brought out her life savings of 1 million and donated it to APC and said, she thanked God that she's contributing to the new Nigeria, even if she may not live to see.
All that has been a ruse, isn't it?
Completely.
So so are you disappointed? Because I'm also worried that you served under the APC, you benefited from the APC, you served for 4 years as a minister. Now you are coming back to stab the party in the back, and you say the party does not represent what you thought you could have represented. Is that not double speaking?
I serve my country because at any given opportunity, if I'm invited, I'm convinced that I have something to offer for my country, I will go and serve. I serve my country. But the party with which I was one of the strongest members at conception and even the campaign, I brought much to the table in 2015. I mobilized 560 clergies, bishops, reverend fathers to endorse Buhari on the 13th of February 2015 at the International Conference Center. And that was the first time, in the history of this country, where the North, which has always been divided along religion, had that type of endorsement, and the clergy went and campaigned for Buhari. So I am a tall stakeholder in APC. But like I said, like you said, I am completely disappointed because, I mean, what we told Nigerians was not what had happened in 2015.
So it was a lie.
We lied. We should admit we lied.
To Nigerians?
To Nigerians.
You deceived Nigerians.
We deceived, even though we use deceive people, the PDP, for campaign. But of course, we were a replica of what we were accusing the PDP of.
Or even worse.
Worse. Not even. Eliminate the word worse.
But Buhari was a catch, isn't it? People wanted the exit of PDP, thinking that Buhari was the messiah at the time. But now there are those who will say Buhari was a disaster. Those who do not see that Buhari did anything good in that 8 years will think that Buhari wasn't the best for Nigeria at the time. What happened?
Buhari was also used and done.
Who used him?
Buhari's charisma was needed at that point in time by the political elite to eliminate Jonathan. And shortly after Buhari had taken over power, this set of political elite emerged and hijacked government. And Buhari was a stranger. I can say this at any point in time. Buhari was a stranger in his own government. And I can corroborate this because I went to see the president in 2020 when I was out of office. And I told him, Mr. President, this wasn't what we told Nigerians. And that I have conscience. We campaigned and convinced Nigerians. When I look at the type of investment the common people put in our government, and here we are today with insecurity. When we came in, it was only the Northeast. As at 2020, I told him it was not possible to even travel from Abuja to Kaduna. And I dared him. I said, Mr. President, if you disbelieve what I'm saying, or what I was saying, please roll out brigade of gas now, and I join you. We drive from Abuja to Daura, and I promise him that if bandits do not attack him, I will go and die in exile. I briefed him about the security situation, about the hardship, and to be very fair to the president, he expressed surprise, meaning from my own judgment, some of the things I said were things he was hearing them for the first time. But I'm not surprised that such has happened. Because even when we were in government, it has happened. It was me who, even at the Federal Executive Council meeting, that informed him when the DSS and EFCC were trigger drawn in Asokoro here for 3 days. They held the entire environment hostage, and the president didn't know. It was everywhere on the press, print media.
But the president, the Buhari that we saw is usually with newspapers. We saw him reading the newspapers. Maybe they gave him a different newspaper.
Well, those who had such knowledge had actually claimed that his newspapers are different. But from this particular incident where the president was in Nigeria for 3 good days, and we went to the Federal Executive Council meeting, and I was expecting the issue to have been on the agenda, the first thing we will look at. And until we finished our meeting, it was not there. I had to introduce it through AOB. And the president was completely in confusion, listening to what I was saying. And at the end of the day, we even left without any closing prayer because he was visibly angry. And when he left, on my way to my office, I saw those 2 agencies under his office, directly under his office, holding a complete community hostage for 3 days because of whatever their interest they had, and the president didn't know. There was no security to his table. The National Security Advisor could not inform him. The so-called courtiers and veranda boys, none of them, thought it wise to save his image and integrity to inform him. So
there was an overtaking of the Buhari government under his watch.
For me, Buhari's hurricane, Buhari integrity was needed. It was a political bite needed to eliminate Jonathan and his government. And immediately that was achieved. You could see what happened. If we were honest, after bringing Buhari, there should have been a consensus, and we should have looked at our individual images and integrity as to how we will move the country forward. But the type of war that went on within and outside, the blame game and everything, I mean, it's enough to tell.
So it was within the corridors of power, within the presidency, those who overtook the so-called cabals really existed.
No, cabal exists in Nigerian presidency till today.
Really? It's still under Tinubu government?
No. Tinubu has even the most sophisticated cabal.
Really?
Worse than Buhari. Buhari's cabal was a group of uninformed people with little experiences. That was why they were dipping hand in everything that was available. But Tinubu's cabal is a sophisticated group of people who had been long in power. And they know power. They are also informed. So they are more dangerous than any other cabal that I have ever known and seen.
So there is cabal in Tinubu's government, and we need to fear them more because according to you, they are more dangerous.
They are more dangerous because they are more sophisticated.
Who are these cabals?
Well, they are the gatekeepers of the president. They are found very close within the circumference of power.
And usually they don't allow governance to flow. Is that what happens?
Yeah. They shield the president. They shield the president from the obvious reality, and they don't allow information to assess the president. And I still corroborate this with what happened during Buhari. There was a time somebody went to see the president to brief him about the situation in the country. And one of the courtiers asked him, what will you be telling the president? He narrated it and he told him, look, my friend, we can't allow you to tell president that thing. What if he collapsed? And so the man was prevented from telling the president. So you can have, a cabal is a group of ambitious people who were also appointed by the same president to help him govern, but they will run his presidency at their own expense and interest. So it happened. We have cabal now.
If you look at what is going on right now, one will imagine that Buhari government has gone. Now the Tinubu government, and you will wonder that is it the same APC that you left that is in existence right now, or is it a different APC?
It's the same APC that we formed, but also more sophisticated than the APC I serve, because you have so many new born again who had from all other political interests. They have now metamorphosed into the party, and it's a very complex political architecture, which is more like a zoo.
So when you were there, you are of the CPC stock,
of course.
So the CPC cabal were running the Buhari government, but now it looks like the ACN cabal are the one running the Tinubu government. Is that what is going on?
No, the CPC did not succeed in having a cabal. If it did, the likes of Al-Makura, who was the only CPC governor into
the merger,
I mean, could have featured prominently. The most unfortunate thing that happened was that shortly after we have taken power, this group of people emerged from nowhere. Let me tell you, when I was campaigning,
they were not politicians at these big cabals are not politicians.
They were like bandits who laid an ambush. Immediately when the president was declared winner, I was with him in his office. I went to see him in the evening that very day. I was blocked from going into his house that very day. And this was the same place as at last night of the previous day. I was there till 2 a.m. I was blocked until I had to make calls before I was allowed to go in. till I was able to make calls to assess Buhari before I was allowed.
So from that day, the cabal had taken over.
Taken over. Those who campaigned for Buhari went celebrating. So they left the president porous. And these people who knew power took over power. And they actually run it to their interest until 8 years.
And these people have amassed a lot of wealth from what you are trying to describe.
Of course, they are very, very wealthy. And Nigerians should expect them.
And they are very powerful.
Of course.
And you are not afraid that these powerful people may come after you.
Oh, you see, I've been into this for all my years. I've been into the struggle for 40 years. I've survived more than 10 assassination attempts. There was a time 5 people carrying AK-47 blocked me and sprayed my car. Solomon Dalung is still living. In 2014, on my way from Zaria to Jos, 3 people around 11 a.m. ambushed me again, sprayed my car. I'm still alive. I'm not talking about attempt to poison my food on so many occasions. I'm not talking about even the invasion of my house in Jos so many times in an attempt to kidnap me and go and kill. So I am not afraid of death, because one thing I know, and my mother confirmed that to me, I'm not going to leave this planet until the day ordained by God. So I'm not afraid of anybody planning to kill me.
So are you like a cat with 9 lives, or you have some supernatural powers?
Well, I think I have more than 9 lives, because the number of assassination attempts I've survived is more than 9.
So it's a supernatural powers?
No, I think God is on my side.
Oh, really? Or your mom birthed you in some very...
Well, I wouldn't know, but I know that the just shall live by faith.
So you're a good Christian, isn't it?
I am. No, I'm not a Christian. I am a believer. I'm not a Christian.
Are you a Muslim?
I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, who died and rose on the 3rd day.
So, I mean, those who are Christians are those who say they live their lives like Christ.
It's not for them.
Christ-like.
It's not for them to say. Because if you go to the book of Acts, it was others who sold their lifestyle. So if a Muslim said, oh, this is a Christian, I have no problem with that. But a believer should not refer to me as a Christian.
So what religion do you observe?
Yeah, I practice the religion of the man of Calvary.
And which is?
Well, that is, I'm a believer of Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
So you are not a Christian?
No.
And neither are you a Muslim?
No. If a Muslim refers to me as a Christian, he's right. Because that's what the Bible says. I believe in the Holy Bible.
But what are you? What religion do you?
I believe in Jesus Christ, the man of Calvary, who died and rose on the 3rd day.
That is believed to be Christianity.
You see, no, we are followers of Jesus Christ. You see, this concept of Christianity which we are promoting, biblically is wrong. The Bible says, when they gathered in Antioch and they were behaving like Christ, those who saw them said, oh, who are these? And somebody said, oh, you don't know them? These are the believers of the man of Calvary who was crucified. So he said, oh, they are Christ-like. So if somebody sees someone's life looking like that of Jesus Christ and is not a believer, he's free to say this is a Christian, Christ-like. But you cannot describe yourself that you are Christ-like.
So how do you describe yourself religion-wise?
I describe myself as a follower of Jesus Christ, and I believe in him.
Let me take you back quickly. You supporting Peter Obi, does it make you feel that maybe that's the best man that can run this country? Was that what you believed?
Well, I have never supported Peter Obi. I only defended Peter Obi when they rise against him, they campaign to try to blackmail him and possibly force him to exile himself by attack dogs of the president. Because, I mean, they left issues which were affecting the country and they concentrated on him. But in Peter Obi, I see that leadership qualities, because for him to be able to mobilize the votes he got within a short time, I believe that Nigerians saw something in him good, and I cannot think differently.
I mean, out of all the candidates, who do you think? I mean, the president is in office, and so it's you can't change that. But from your own assessment, Who do you think would have done a better job on running this country?
Prince Adewale Adebayo.
You think he's the best candidate?
He has the very best knowledge of this, and he knows the country very well.
But he didn't get it. He didn't even move close.
You cannot even put him and with anybody.
Really?
He has that courage. He has the knowledge. He has the capacity.
And the by Wadalo Neno. Here part 1 we are still coming. If he is able, make sure na to say abuzi. Makaya ba ko ibon sebe uyege. Makagena ka je ku ko rutu mun na ndo zaka. Okay, if I know now unveiling kai na akpu. So if we will na this part 1, we are going to put the part 2 of this. Yes, if you will basta makaya bi fe drop ora ifi cheno dinkege. Basta makaya bi fe na Eastern News 24. Baba si wele otero no yabozi awe no bosinkata na Eastern News 24. Ngwana kemesi